Monstrous began with a governor of Jining County named Quan Jong-su heading to a location where an artifact was found. While Jong-su was heading there, a man suddenly approached him and showed him a doll that he had made. That man explained that the doll was one of the souvenirs that they were going to sell in that location because the governor planned to build a tourist attraction there. A monk warned them not to dig the artifact, but Jong-su ignored him. Jong-su and his subordinates then continued to head to that location. When they arrived there, they saw a group of men digging the artifact that was found in that location. They were amazed when they saw that artifact. They thought that that artifact was a treasure. That artifact was a giant Buddhist statue. Jong-su noticed that the Buddhist statue's eyes were covered with a cloth that had a writing on it. He asked the workers who were digging that statue to remove the cloth, and the workers immediately did what he asked. The sky was cloudy that night. There were some crows that flew over their heads. The next morning, a worker was cleaning the Buddhist statue that was already put in the truck. That worker was named Bang Won-suk. Won-suk was a little scared when he cleaned that Buddhist statue because it felt like that statue was staring at him. Suddenly, a crow landed on that statue. Won-suk tried to get rid of it by spraying on it. Not long after that, a man came to that place and gave some money to Won-suk. That man saw the Buddhist statue and also thought that there was something creepy about it. In another place, a man was preparing himself to go to work, but his pregnant wife suddenly had a bad feeling. Before that man got inside the car, he said goodbye to his wife and their unborn baby. After that, he got inside the car and began to work as a taxi driver. While he was driving the car, the truck that carried the Buddhist statue almost hit his car. The taxi driver was angry because of that. He yelled at the truck driver and saw the Buddhist statue. He saw the eyes of the Buddhist statue and couldn't stop staring at them. In another place, a high school student named Han Du-kyung was leaving for school. His mother, Han Suk-hee, quickly went inside her car and chased Du-kyung, who had already left without her. It appeared that Du-kyung was mad at his mother. Seok-hee asked him to get inside the car, but Du-kyung ignored her. But Seok-hee kept following him and forcing him to get inside the car. Du-kyung finally did what she asked him and sat in the backseat, even though he was still mad at her. When he was in the car, he and his mother got into an argument. But after a while, Seok-hee finally continued to drive. At a university, a professor named Min Young-soo gave a lecture about the technique that people use to preserve ancient artifacts. Young-soo told his students that it was better for them to leave those ancient artifacts underground. After class, Young-soo headed to the staff room. But while he was heading there, he saw a group of students gathering in the hallway. Those students were listening to a man who was talking about various historical controversies and mysteries. They were curious and interested in those stories because they had never heard about them before. That man was named Jun Ki-hoon. He was an archaeologist who studied strange supernatural phenomena and published a cult magazine called Monthly Strange Story. Ki-hoon asked those students to buy his magazines, but those students were not interested in buying those magazines. Suddenly, Young-soo approached them and told those students to leave that place. After those students left, he talked to Ki-hoon. Turned out, Ki-hoon was his close friend. He was also the one who asked Ki-hoon to come to the university. He knew that Ki-hoon ran a business about history, specifically the history about strange supernatural phenomena. He asked Ki-hoon to come to the university because he wanted him to talk to some people. Young-soo then took Ki-hoon to a room and introduced him to two monks. Those monks were from Jekshin Order Buddhism Research Lab. They were named Monk Il-ju and Monk Sung-won. Monk Il-ju and Monk Sung-won showed Ki-hoon the edition of his magazine that talked about the Buddhist statue. They revealed that the Buddhist statue was possessed by an evil spirit. They said that they had tried to seal the Buddhist statue, but it didn't stop it from causing disasters to people around it. They then created a new Buddhist statue and buried the cursed Buddhist statue to break the curse, and it finally worked. But unfortunately, just like what Ki-hoon wrote in his magazine, the first Buddhist statue that was possessed by an evil spirit had been recently dug. Those monks were worried because of that. They said that they had tried to stop the governor from digging it, but the governor didn't listen to them and kept digging the cursed Buddhist statue. They then showed Ki-hoon the pictures of the cursed Buddhist statue that had been dug. They asked Ki-hoon to find out about the meaning of the writing on the cloth that covered the Buddhist statue's eyes. Ki-hoon checked the writing and said that it was written in Tibetic language. He said that he would need some money to translate that writing, and the monks immediately agreed to pay him for translating the writing. After they made a deal, the monks gave their business card to Ki-hoon. After that, they said goodbye to Ki-hoon and Young-soo and left that place. After the meeting was over, Ki-hoon also prepared himself to leave soon. While Young-soo and Ki-hoon were heading out of the building, they talked about Ki-hoon's personal life. Young-soo said that he felt bad about what happened between Ki-hoon and his ex-wife. It was revealed that Ki-hoon and his ex-wife had a child together, but their child passed away last year. Ki-hoon's ex-wife was named Lee Soo-jin. Soo-jin was a genius archaeologist, but she decided to live in a village in Jinnyang County after her only child died. Ki-hoon then said goodbye to Young-soo, but before he left that place, Young-soo gave him a gift. He said that it would protect Ki-hoon from any evil spirit. Ki-hoon laughed when he heard that. He doubted that what Young-soo said was true. Young-soo told Ki-hoon that he just wanted him to stay alive, but Ki-hoon said that he was already dead and left that place. Even though he found it silly, he decided to keep the gift that Young-soo gave to him. Soo-jin went to a school supply store. She wanted to buy a backpack for her child, but she was not sure about it. Suddenly, she noticed that there were also some plush toys in that store. Those plush toys reminded her of something. She checked those plush toys, and turned out they were equipped with voice recorders. In a village, an old woman was picking chilies in her garden. That old woman was named Grandmother Ho-mi. Suddenly, it rained. Grandmother Ho-mi was confused when she saw that rain because it had black color. She immediately stopped what she was doing and looked at the dark clouds in the sky. People were also confused when they saw the black rain, including Soo-jin, who was on her way home. She thought that there was something odd going on. As soon as she arrived at home, she got out of the taxi and ran toward her house. As an archaeologist, her job was to decipher letters and symbols that were found in ancient artifacts. She was excellent at her work. There was a picture of her, her ex-husband Ki-hoon, and her late daughter in her house. At home, Ki-hoon was trying to translate the writing on the cloth that covered the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes. He was struggling to translate that writing because it was written in complex Tibetic language. There were even some words that he didn't understand. He then got up from his chair and took a book. That book was written by Soo-jin, her ex-wife, the genius pattern interpreter. In that book, Soo-jin wrote that she dedicated that book for her family. Since Soo-jin was excellent in deciphering letters and symbols, Ki-hoon asked her to help him to translate the writing on the cloth that covered the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes. Soo-jin read Ki-hoon's email and saw the picture of the cursed Buddhist statue. She investigated the writing that she saw in that picture right away. After Won-suk finished working, he went to a restaurant. Won-suk was the truck driver who delivered the cursed Buddhist statue to the town hall. But when Won-suk arrived in that restaurant, he felt that there was something weird with his eyes. He then had a drink, but his condition was not getting any better. Instead, his eyes began to feel itchy. The owner of the restaurant, who was also Won-suk's friend, approached him and asked him if he was all right. He was worried if Won-suk caught cold because it rained hard outside. But Won-suk said that that was all right and went to the restroom. In the restroom, Won-suk kept washing his eyes with water. He thought that everything began to feel strange. Suddenly, an old man came to the restroom and greeted him. Won-suk didn't recognize that man, but that man told him that he was his father. That man urged Won-suk to give him some money. Won-suk refused to do that and pushed him over. After that, he left that place right away. Won-suk's condition was worsening as he got out of the restroom. He was getting more scared when he saw everyone around him looking like his father. His eyes had also completely turned into white. He fell down and saw his father approaching him and turning into a monster. Won-suk was horrified when he saw that. He grabbed a bottle and hit his father with it. He began to beat his father up and threatened him to stay away from him and his mother. The people at the restaurant were shocked when they saw that. They quickly stopped Won-suk from attacking that man. Turned out, the person whom Won-suk had beaten up was not his father, but his own friend, the owner of the restaurant. At home, Scifi persuaded her son to eat some food. Scifi was the police chief in Jinyin County. It appeared that she had a scar in her hand. Scifi's son, Du-kyung, refused to eat. Scifi then tried to talk to him about the problems that he had been causing at school, but Du-kyung ignored her and focused on his phone instead. Scifi was mad because of that and grabbed his phone right away. Du-kyung asked her to give his phone back to him, but Scifi said that she would seize that phone for a week. Du-kyung was getting even more annoyed with his mother and stormed off. Scifi didn't care about it because she was also mad at his son. Suddenly, she received a call from her coworker. Her coworker asked her to come to the police station soon. Even though it was already dark and raining hard outside, Scifi got inside her car and headed to the police station. On her way there, she noticed that the weather had been strange lately. She realized that it was not usual rain, but freezing rain. Her car window even got damaged by the snow that fell from the sky. The taxi driver who saw the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes earlier was driving near her. Just like Won-suk, that taxi driver also began to act strangely. His eyes turned into white, and he couldn't control himself. He frustratedly said that he would kill everybody, and he almost crashed into Scifi's car. Scifi was surprised because of that. She was getting even more worried about what was happening in her town. After a while, she finally arrived at the police station. Before she went inside the building, she checked her car first. She found out that her car window was damaged by a black ice that had a weird shape. She was confused when she saw that weird ice. After that, she entered the police station building and saw Won-suk in that place. Scifi wondered why they arrested Won-suk, because she knew Won-suk and she knew that he was a good person. A police officer told her that Won-suk went berserk at a restaurant and violently attacked the owner of the restaurant. Scifi was surprised when she heard that. She tried to approach Won-suk and interrogate him about it, but Won-suk suddenly got hysterical and asked everyone to stay away from him. Everybody in that place was confused when they saw that. They thought that Won-suk was acting strangely, as if he was possessed by a spirit. Not long after that, Won-suk finally became quiet. Scifi used that moment to approach him and ask him if he was all right. But suddenly, Won-suk got hysterical again and tried to attack her. He forced himself to get Suk, even though he was handcuffed. He didn't even care if he injured his hand and almost lost it. Scifi was worried about him and tried to calm him down. She asked her coworkers to help her. They called the ambulance immediately and took Won-suk to the hospital. On their way to the hospital, Scifi asked the healthcare workers about Won-suk's health condition. Those workers admitted that they had no idea about what happened to Won-suk. They said that the doctors at the hospital might know about the illness that Won-suk had. The next day, a woman went to Soo-jin's house. Soo-jin opened the door and greeted that woman. That woman asked Soo-jin to go to the town hall with her. She said that people were worried about the black rain that happened another day, and they wanted to discuss about it. At first, Soo-jin was not interested in attending the gathering, but that woman kept persuading her to do it. She said that Soo-jin was an educated person, and she might have the answer about what happened. Soo-jin felt guilty when she heard that. She finally agreed to go to the town hall with that woman and attend the gathering. While Soo-jin was heading to that place, she saw the villagers cleaning their house and environment. Because of the black rain, the villagers had to suffer from some damages. Their gardens got damaged and some traffic accidents happened. They wondered about why the black rain happened, but nobody had the answer. After a while, Soo-jin and that woman finally arrived at the town hall. When they arrived there, they saw many people in that place. Apparently, a cultural festival was held in that place. Besides discussing about the black rain that happened another day, those people also came to that place to attend the cultural festival. They wanted to see the Buddhist statue that was believed could grant people's wishes. Soo-jin thought that there was something strange about it. The woman explained that the government displayed the Buddhist statue there because they wanted to attract people to come to their village. Suddenly, that woman's friend came to that place and approached them. While that woman was talking to her friend, Su-jin entered the building to see the Buddhist statue that the woman was talking about. She finally found the Buddhist statue and stared at its eyes. She wondered why that Buddhist statue was displayed in that place. At home, a man named Kwak Yongju woke up from his sleep after he heard some noise that were made by a couple who was having sex. Yongju put on his clothes and headed to the room of the couple. The man in that room was surprised when he saw him there. He asked him about who he was. The woman was mad because Yongju interrupted her and her partner. She told her partner that Yongju was her son. She said that Yongju had just been released from the prison another day. Yongju grabbed his mother's bag and asked her to give her some money. His mother was annoyed by his rude behavior. She asked him to leave her house if he didn't change his behavior. She told him to leave now, but Yongju said that she was the one who needed to change. He told his mother to stop becoming a prostitute. His mother's partner was angry when he heard that. He berated Yongju for calling his mother a prostitute, but Yongju beat him up right away. Yongju's mother asked him to stop beating that man up. Yongju finally stopped attacking that man and told his mother to continue what she was doing with him. After saying that, he left that room. Yongju got out of the house and cursed. He lit his cigarette and noticed that the weather in that place was very bad. He then called his friend and asked him to meet him. He said that he was looking for someone named Du Kyung because he needed to kill him. His friend told him that Du Kyung was being punished right now because he got into a fight another day. He revealed that they forced Du Kyung to work as a volunteer at the town hall for his punishment. Yongju asked him to go to the town hall soon after he heard that. Then he hanged up the call and rode his motorcycle. Kae-hoon went to the cinerarium to visit his daughter's urn. After that, he returned to his car and tried to start his car, but his car wouldn't start. He was annoyed because of it, but he was too tired to do anything about it. At the monastery, the monks were looking for a book about seals. Monk Ilju looked at the pictures of the cursed Buddhist statue and saw the writing on the cloth that covered its eyes. He tried to read the writing again, but he still didn't understand about what it meant. He assumed that it was a complex spell that was used to seal the cursed Buddhist statue. He believed that the evil spirit that possessed that statue was very powerful. He also thought that the statue cursed people through its eyes since the cloth covered its eyes. Monk Ilju knew that the cursed Buddhist statue was being displayed at the town hall now. So he asked his friend Monk Sung-won to go to the town hall with him. He also asked him to bring all materials that they received from Ki-hoon when they visited the town hall. Du Kyung finally arrived at the town hall. He was asked to clean that place for his punishment. When he was at the restroom, a group of men suddenly came to that place and surrounded him. They asked him to go with them, but Du Kyung refused to do that. Du Kyung was getting even more annoyed by those men when they threatened him. He tried to call the police, but he suddenly remembered that his phone had been taken by his mother. He then tried to run away from that place, but those men stopped him right away and began to beat him up. After that, they took him to Yongju. Yongju smirked when he saw Du Kyung there. He asked Du Kyung about how he was doing. At the monastery, Monk Ilju came to see the head of the monastery. They talked about the cursed Buddhist statue that had been found recently. Monk Ilju said that he believed that the Buddhist statue was possessed by an evil spirit, but the head of the monastery asked him to stop what he was doing. He said that the governor called him and told him that he didn't want the monks to interfere with the cultural festival that was being held at the town hall. Monk Ilju was surprised when he found out that the cursed Buddhist statue was being displayed at a festival. He was afraid if the statue would bring harm to many people who attended the festival. But the head of the monastery still urged him to stop what he was doing. He said that they couldn't do anything because they were in a difficult position. He wondered why Monk Ilju was obsessed to research the Buddhist statue. He suspected that he only wanted to get popularity and get interviewed by the media. Monk Ilju said that Kae-hoon's magazine was the only media that cared about them. The head of the monastery said that Monk Ilju had ruined the reputation of the Buddhist community. He then asked him to just focus on his teaching job and do what he told him. Yongju was watching his men beating Du Kyung up. He then approached them and joined them to torture Du Kyung. Du Kyung was struggling to attack them back because he was outnumbered by them. Yang Ju took out his knife and showed it to Du Kyung. He asked Du Kyung to tell his mother that he would visit her later. After saying that, he stopped attacking Du Kyung. Du Kyung asked him not to see him again. He said that he just wanted to live in peace. Yang Ju didn't respond to him and slapped his face instead. Suddenly, someone came to that place and interrupted them. While Yang Ju and his men were busy with that man, Du Kyung got up and walked away from that place. Yang Ju's men told Yang Ju that Du Kyung was running away, but Yang Ju told them to leave him alone. Du Kyung went to the restroom and washed his face with water. He was angry with what had happened to him, but he tried to calm himself down. After that, he wanted to see his supervisor to tell him that he had finished working. But apparently, there had been a commotion in that place. When Du Kyung arrived in his supervisor's room, he saw his supervisor talking to some police officers about the commotion. He tried to talk to his supervisor, but his supervisor told him to leave that place. One of the police officers who came to the town hall was named Kim Hyun-ba. Before Hyun-ba left that place, he saw the cursed Buddhist statue that was being displayed there. At the monastery, some monks panicked and screamed for help. Monk Il-ju was confused when he saw them. He rushed to the temple to see what happened there. He was shocked when he saw a painting of Buddha weeping blood in that place. He thought that it was a bad sign. He was afraid that something bad would happen soon. Monk Sung-won suddenly remembered about the black rain that happened in Jinying County another day. He showed the article about it to Monk Il-ju. At the town hall, Soo-jin saw the cloth that was used to cover the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. She complained to a worker there about it. She said that they were not supposed to remove the cloth from the Buddhist statue. She then checked the Buddhist statue and looked at its eyes. After that, she went to the auditorium and saw many people in that place. Those people came to that place to discuss about the black rain that happened another day. Soo-jin looked at a man in that place, and that man looked back at her. She remembered that that man was the person who had hit his daughter with his truck. Soo-jin was surprised when she saw that man and decided to leave that room. She then called Ki-hoon and asked him about where he was. Ki-hoon told her that his car broke down and he was still waiting for a car mechanic to arrive. Soo-jin asked him if the person who hit their daughter back then had been released from the prison. Ki-hoon was surprised when he heard her question. Soo-jin explained that she was at the town hall and she saw that man there. Suddenly, she heard someone went to the restroom. She immediately hanged up the call and became quiet. Ki-hoon tried to call Soo-jin again, but Soo-jin didn't answer his call. It seemed that the person who had just entered the restroom was looking for her. Soo-jin was afraid that that person would hurt her. But after a while, she finally decided to get out of the stall. But when she checked the restroom, she didn't find anyone there. In the car, Ki-hoon found out that a black rain happened in Jinying County another day. He was surprised when he heard that because Jinying County was where Soo-jin lived. It was said that the black rain contained some dangerous chemicals that could be extremely harmful to humans. But the government hadn't said anything about this strange phenomenon. They only warned the people to stay away from that place. At the town hall, Soo-jin returned to the auditorium. She was still scared because of the presence of her daughter's murderer in that place. Not long after that, the meeting finally began. People discussed about the black rain that happened another day. The researchers also attended that meeting. They admitted that they hadn't found out about how and why the black rain happened. While they were having a discussion, the governor of Jinying County, Kwon Jong-soo, suddenly came to that place. Everybody became quiet when they saw him there. Jong-soo took over the meeting and told the people not to worry about the black rain. He lied that he had researched the black rain and found out that it was not dangerous at all. He didn't care about the safety of those people. All he cared about was that Jinying County could become a tourist attraction that attracted many tourists from all over the world. Yang Ju and his men suddenly heard the sirens of the fire engines. They checked that place to see what happened there. They were surprised when they saw a thick, dark fog covering that area. Suddenly, they saw a man walking to the edge of the rooftop. They thought that that man looked like a zombie. His eyes turned into white, and it seemed that he had lost his sanity. In the auditorium, the governor Jong-soo was still trying to explain to people about the black rain. Suddenly, a man came to that place. that man carried an axe and screamed. Everybody in that place was surprised when they saw him. A man approached him and tried to calm him down, but the zombie-looking man attacked him with his axe right away. Everybody screamed in horror when they saw that. They rushed to the exit to run away from that man. While Su Jin was leaving that room, she looked at the man who had murdered his daughter again. She then got herself together and helped a woman to run away from that place. The disaster didn't stop there. When Su Jin got out of the building, a man suddenly took his own life by jumping off the building. The situation in that place became more chaotic and tense as more people getting injured and killed in many accidents that happened at the same time. Su Jin was confused with everything that was happening. She didn't understand why those people suddenly became violent and attacked each other. Apparently, those people had been cursed by the Buddhist statue. Their eyes had turned into white, and they lost control of themselves. They violently attacked and killed many innocent people in that place. At the hospital, Won-suk, the truck driver who delivered the cursed Buddhist statue to the town hall, was receiving treatment because he was in critical condition. Seok-hee visited him at the hospital. She had known Won-suk for a long time, and she knew that Won-suk was a good person. So, she found it strange that Won-suk suddenly became violent and attacked other people. She believed that something had happened and made him behave that way. Won-suk's mother thanked her for taking Won-suk to the hospital. After that, she and Seok-hee came to see the doctor. The doctor informed them that Won-suk didn't suffer from any serious illnesses, but he said that he found too many electrical signals in Won-suk's brain and it was not normal. He said that Won-suk could lose his memory and have hallucinations because of the oversupply of those electrical signals. The doctor admitted that it was the first time for him to find such case. He even thought that Won-suk was going to die. But fortunately, Won-suk managed to be saved. The doctor said that Won-suk was receiving treatment for his bone fractures, and he still needed to take a rest. Won-suk felt relieved when she heard that and thanked the doctor. After that, she and Seok-hee left that room. While Seok-hee was heading out of the hospital building, she suddenly received a call from her friend. Her friend sounded very panicked, and Seok-hee asked her about what happened. But suddenly, her friend hanged up the call. Seok-hee tried to call her friend again, but her friend's phone number was inactive. At the town hall, the situation was getting more chaotic and tense. Su Jin saw people around her becoming violent and attacking each other. She didn't understand why those people suddenly lost their humanity and sanity. At the rooftop, Yongju and his men were watching the situation in that place. Yongju was very happy when he saw those people attacking and killing each other. With a happy face, he rushed downstairs to participate in the chaos. His men followed him right away. The governor Jong-soo was trying to run away from that place. He was afraid with everything that happened. He and his subordinates went behind a car to hide from those barbaric people. Suddenly, one of his subordinates began to act strangely. She took a pen and attacked her coworker with it. Just like those barbaric people, that woman had also lost her humanity and sanity. The governor Jong-soo was shocked when he saw that. Fortunately, he managed to run away from her. Yongju began to attack and kill people in that place. Even though he didn't lose his sanity, he voluntarily attacked, injured, and killed people there. The people who were still alive and were not infected were instructed to return to the building. A man approached Su Jin and helped her to return to the building. While Su Jin was heading to the building, she saw Du Kyung being attacked and quickly helped him. As soon as everybody went inside the building, they tried to close and lock the door. But suddenly, an infected woman chased them and tried to enter the building. But Yongju grabbed that woman and killed her right away. The governor Jong-soo and people in the building were horrified when they saw Jong-soo killing that woman brutally. Despite that, they still allowed Jong-soo to enter the building. But as soon as Yongju went inside the building, they began to get scared of him. The governor Jong-soo thanked Yongju for saving them and allowing him to stay in the building. Du Kyung also thanked Su Jin for saving him earlier. Yongju then took over and began to give orders to those people. Those people immediately did what he asked them, including the governor Jong-soo. They began to secure every entrance to the building. Su Jin suddenly saw her daughter's murderer again. She became afraid because of that. Du Kyung was confused when he saw her. He asked her if she was all right. Soo Jin didn't answer his question and left that place instead. Suddenly, she found herself walking in an open field that was covered by a fog. After a while, she finally arrived at the traffic light. She then rushed to her house and tried to find her daughter there. But suddenly, her daughter's murderer followed her home and asked her to open the door. Soo Jin panicked when she saw him there. She locked the door and made sure that that man couldn't enter her house. She also took the knife to protect herself. Not long after that, the door was opened. Soo Jin saw her late daughter returning home. She was surprised to see her daughter there that she dropped her knife on the floor. Her daughter told her that she had prepared a gift for her father. She showed her the gift, and it turned out to be a plush toy. She then asked her mother to hide with her. But suddenly, someone came to that place and opened the door. Soo Jin was worried that it was a bad person who wanted to hurt her daughter. So she took her daughter with her and went to a room to hide. At the town hall, everybody received a text message from the government. In that text message, the government warned people not to leave or go to Jinyan County for the time being. Du Kyung looked at Soo Jin. He was worried about her because she still seemed unwell. Even though Yongju enjoyed the chaos, he was also confused with everything that happened. People began to get worried after they read the text message from the government. The governor Jong-soo asked them to calm down. Yongju looked at Soo Jin and noticed that there was something wrong about her. After Ki-soon finished having his car repaired, he finally could drive his car again. At the monastery, monk Il-ju was watching the news about Jinyan County. He was surprised when he found out that the government decided to lock down that region. The government warned people not to leave or go to Jinyan County for the time being. Monk Il-ju was getting more shocked when he learned that they had removed the cursed Buddhist statue seal. He believed that more disasters would happen soon because of it. Kang-hoon was heading to Jinyan County, but unfortunately, he was stopped by some soldiers who guarded the border of that region. Those soldiers told people who wanted to go to Jinyan County to turn around and leave that place. Ki-hoon got out of his car and approached one of those soldiers. He asked that soldier about what was going on, but that soldier didn't answer his question. Instead, he told Ki-hoon to turn around and leave that place. Ki-hoon said that he needed to go to Jinyan County because of an urgent matter. Another soldier suddenly approached them and asked his coworker about what was going on. His coworker explained that Ki-hoon wanted to go to Jinyan County. Those soldiers then interrogated Ki-hoon, but they found out that Ki-hoon was lying to them and only making up excuses. Because of that, they didn't allow Ki-hoon to go to Jinyan County. Ki-hoon was annoyed when he heard that. He then provoked other people who also wanted to go to Jinyan County that they finally gathered and protested. Turned out, Seok, he was also stuck in that place. She used a taxi to take her home, but the soldiers didn't allow her to cross the border. Seok, he was mad because of that. She finally decided to get out of the taxi and approached the crowd. She asked a soldier about what happened. She said that she was the police chief in Jinyan County and she needed to return home soon, but that soldier still refused to allow her to go to Jinyan County. Seok, he was frustrated when she heard that. At the town hall, the governor Jong-soo and other people tried to call the police, but nobody answered their call. Suddenly, Yongju began to tell people about his theory. He assumed that the strange incidents that currently happened in their town were caused by the black rain that happened another day. He thought that the rain contained some dangerous virus that made people behave strangely. He believed that they needed to kill people who had been exposed to the black rain to prevent the spread of the virus. Du Kyung was getting more worried about Soo Jin because she still acted strangely. In her mind, Soo Jin saw her and her daughter hiding inside the cupboard. While they were hiding there, a man suddenly came to that room. Soo Jin noticed that that man was carrying a knife. Soo Jin's daughter, Jung Hae-young, thought that that man was her father, Ki-hoon. Soo Jin covered her mouth so that she didn't make any noise. But suddenly, that mysterious man realized that Soo Jin and Hae-young were hiding in the cupboard. He peeked through the cupboard door and showed his scary face to Soo Jin and Hae-young. After that, that man finally left that place. Hae-young got out of the cupboard and chased that man. At the town hall, Soo Jin suddenly fainted. Everybody was surprised when they saw that. Yangju told them to hold Sujin down because he was afraid that Sujin would turn into a zombie-like creature. But since nobody moved and did what he asked, Yangju decided to take care of Sujin by himself. He approached Sujin and tried to attack her, but Du Kyung stopped him right away. Yangju's men then beat him up and told him not to interfere. Yangju tried to convince Du Kyung and everybody there that Sujin was no longer human. Du Kyung called Yangju a murderer because he wanted to kill a person. He threatened that he would call the police on him. Yangju was annoyed when he heard that. He approached Du Kyung and attacked him right away. He said that he was not afraid of his threat. After that, he continued to try to kill Sujin. The people in that place were confused about what to do. They had no idea if Yangju was doing the right thing or not. But suddenly, Du Kyung got up and attacked Yangju. He begged Yangju not to kill Sujin. At the border, Ki-hoon and other people were still trying to go to Jing'an County, but the soldiers still refused to allow them to do that. Ki-hoon tried to call Sujin. At the town hall, everybody was surprised when they heard a phone ring. They quickly checked their phone to see if it was their phone that rang. Du Kyung noticed that it was Sujin's phone that rang. He quickly grabbed the phone and answered Ki-hoon's call. He introduced himself to Ki-hoon. He said that he answered the call because the owner of the phone, Sujin, was unconscious. At the border, Seok, he was surprised when she heard Ki-hoon mentioned Du Kyung's name. She walked toward Ki-hoon and grabbed his phone right away. She talked to Du Kyung and found out that it was indeed her son who was talking to her. She asked Du Kyung about where he was. But before Du Kyung had the chance to answer his mother's question, the governor Jong-soo said that they were at the town hall now. Jong-soo asked Seok to come to the police station and send them help soon. Seok he asked him to look after her son. She promised that she would try her best to find a help for them. After saying that, she hanged up the call. Kang-hoon felt relieved to know that his ex-wife was with Seok's son. After Seok, he found out that Kang-hoon was also heading to the town hall. She asked him to go to that place together with her. She said that she knew a shortcut to go to the town hall. At the town hall, the governor Jong-soo was happy when he found out that Du Kyung's mother was a police chief. He said that it could help them to get the help soon. Everybody was also happy when they heard that. They could finally feel relieved because there was a hope. The governor Jong-soo also asked Yangju to stop being aggressive because everything had been under control. Suddenly, Yangju asked people there to raise their hand if they had been exposed to the black rain. Some people then raised their hand, including a Jong-soo subordinate. After that, Yangju began to attack those people. Everybody was surprised and scared when they saw that. Jong-soo asked Yangju about what he was doing. Yangju said that he still believed that the people who had been exposed to the black rain would turn into zombie-like creatures soon. Nobody dared to protest against what Yangju said. Yangju then told them to secure everyone who had been exposed to the black rain. The governor Jong-soo finally told them to do what Yangju asked them because he was also scared of Yangju. People then began to secure everyone who admitted that they had been exposed to the black rain. Du Kyung was disappointed when he saw that, but he couldn't do anything to help them. The rest of the people also couldn't do anything but to do what Yangju asked them because they were afraid of him. The next scene revealed the past life of Yangju and Du Kyung. It was revealed that Yangju and Du Kyung used to be best friends. They used to spend some time together and ride motorcycle together. Du Kyung enjoyed spending time with Yangju. One afternoon, Yangju and Du Kyung were riding a motorcycle together. When they arrived in a place, Yangju began to tell Du Kyung about his mother. Yangju said that since he was a child, his mother liked to bring men home and force him to call those men father. His mother would beat him up if he refused to do what she asked him. Yangju admitted that he hated the men whom his mother brought home. He then took out a knife and showed it to Du Kyung. He said that he needed that knife to survive and defend himself. Du Kyung didn't say anything when he heard that. It seemed that he took Yangju's story seriously. To avoid the awkward situation, Yangju suddenly teased him and wrestled him. While he was wrestling him, he said that Du Kyung could never defeat him. Back to the present time at the town hall, Du Kyung saw people securing other people who admitted that they had been exposed to the black rain. They tied them up and took them to another room. It seemed that the governor Jong-soo refused to get into conflict with Yongju. He allowed Yongju to take control of the situation in that place, even though he was the one who was the governor. Yongju gave a bat to his men and asked them to use it to attack everyone who tried to run away from that room. Everyone who was captured and tied up in that room cried and begged Yongju to free them, only Soo-jin who didn't do anything. Kang-hoon and Seok, he were on their way to Jinyang County. They were taking a shortcut to the town hall. While they were heading to that place, Seok was reading an article about the black rain that happened in Jinyang County. It was stated that many strange incidents happened after the black rain happened. The scientists were still trying to find out about the reason why such strange phenomenon happened, but they assumed that the black rain contained some dangerous virus that were created by terrorists. They believed that the terrorists used it as a biological weapon to attack Jinyang people and turn them into zombie-like creatures. In Jinyang County, everything had been a mess. There was a thick fog that was covering that region. The infected people were still brutally attacking and killing other people there. It seemed that that place had turned into one big chaos. At the town hall, the governor Jong-soo and Jinyang people were watching the news on TV. The reporter said that the researchers hadn't found out about the reason why the black rain happened, but they assumed that it contained some contagious virus that could be extremely harmful to humans. Yongju was proud of himself because he and the researchers shared the same assumption. A man asked Jong-soo if he believed that the black rain was what made people act strangely. Other people began to ask some questions to Jong-soo too, but Jong-soo didn't answer their questions. A man suddenly said that he had a bus that was parked outside. He suggested that they use that bus to run away from that place. Yongju said that he also had a suggestion. He suggested that he killed everyone who was infected by the virus. Jong-soo didn't know what to say when he heard that. He suddenly felt unwell and started to cough. In another room, Soo-jin had a flashback about the time when she was attending a seminar. In that seminar, she was giving a lecture about some ancient artifacts that were left by ancient kingdoms of Korea. While she was taking a break, she suddenly received a call from Ki-hoon. Ki-hoon told her that he couldn't pick their daughter up because he needed to attend a meeting. So he asked her to pick Hae-young up. Soo-jin was mad when she heard that, but she couldn't do anything about it. She finally left the seminar and went to the bus stop to pick her daughter up. But unfortunately, she was too late. When the bus arrived at the bus stop, Hae-young got off the bus, but she didn't see her parents there. She was waiting for her parents, but her parents didn't show up. She was sad because of that. She then began to look around that place to find her parents. While Soo-jin was heading to that place, she called the school and asked them about her daughter. The school told her that the bus had arrived at the bus stop, and all students had gotten off the bus. Soo-jin was worried when she heard that. She sped up her car and finally arrived at the traffic light. When she arrived there, she saw her daughter walking by herself. Suddenly, a car arrived in that place. Hae-young was happy when she saw that car because she thought that it was her father's car. Soo-jin was worried because the traffic light would turn red soon. She tried to get out of her car, but her seatbelt got stuck. After a while, she finally managed to unlock her seatbelt and get out of her car. She called her daughter, and her daughter suddenly stopped walking. She smiled and waved her hand at her. But suddenly, a truck came from another direction and crashed into Hae-young. Soo-jin was shocked when she saw that. The truck driver quickly got out of the truck and checked on Hae-young. He seemed very shocked of what had happened. Turned out the car that Hae-young was approaching earlier was not Ki-hoon's car. A man got out of that car and checked on Hae-young too. Soo-jin rushed to her daughter and found out that her daughter had died. She cried and screamed in pain as she saw her daughter lying dead on the ground. Back to the present time, Ki-hoon and Seok, he were still heading to Jinyang County. It appeared that Kang-hoon kept the plush toy that was given by her late daughter to him in his car. After they went through a dark tunnel, they saw a thick fog covering that area. Seok, he assumed that the fog was caused by the black rain that happened another day. Kang-hoon was curious about that. He suddenly stopped driving and got out of his car. He checked that place and found the black water that was left by the black rain. He touched the black water and asked Scifi if she knew about what happened during the black rain. Scifi remembered that a black ice with a weird shape fell from the sky and damaged her car window when it was raining. She said that the black ice looked like a human face. While Scifi and Kae-hoon were discussing about that strange black ice, a crow suddenly landed near them. Not long after that, more crows came to that place. Those crows flew in the sky and tried to attack Scifi and Kae-hoon. Scifi and Kae-hoon were surprised when they saw them and ran immediately. They tried to run away from those crows, but those crows managed to attack and injure them. Scifi and Kae-hoon then decided to hide in a house there. Those crows were chasing them and trying to enter that house. Scifi and Kae-hoon were scared when they saw that. Kae-hoon believed that there was an evil spirit in that place, and that was why those crows suddenly showed up and attacked them. After a while, those crows finally managed to break down the window and enter the house. While Scifi was trying to prevent those crows from entering their room, Kae-hoon searched that place to look for something. Since people became infected, they began to attack and kill other people in that place. As the result, many people were lying dead on the streets. At the town hall, an infected woman tried to enter the building by smashing her head against the window. Everybody who stayed in the building were scared when they saw that. They were worried if that infected woman managed to get inside the building and attack them. For that reason, they urged the governor Jong-soo to make a decision soon. But Jong-soo believed that Do-kyung's mother would come to that place and save them soon. Young-ju laughed when he heard that. He doubted that Scifi would come to that place and save them. He didn't think that Scifi could make it. He even suspected that Scifi had probably died while she was heading to that place. While Kae-hoon was looking for something, Scifi tried to secure every entrance to that room by blocking them with some objects. Kae-hoon poured some sugar onto the table and wrote some symbols there. After he finished writing those symbols, he asked Scifi to hide under the table with him. Not long after that, the crows came to that room. Surprisingly, they couldn't find Scifi and Kae-hoon, who were hiding under the table. After a while, those crows finally stopped flying. It seemed that they had given up after they failed to find their target. Kae-hoon and Scifi noticed that there were some dead bodies in that place. Scifi wanted to get out of their hiding place, but Kae-hoon stopped her right away. Kae-hoon explained that the symbols that he wrote on the table was a spell that could protect them against evil. He wrote that spell because he believed that there was an evil spirit in that place. It seemed that he was right because the crows couldn't attack them when they hid under that table. Kae-hoon also explained that the black rain that happened in Jinmyang County another day was a sign from God. He said that the black rain was not dangerous, but they needed to find the source of that black rain soon. After that, Kae-hoon called Monk Il-ju and asked him about the cursed Buddhist statue that was found in the mountain. Monk Il-ju told him that the cursed Buddhist statue was being displayed at the town hall. He revealed that the governor Jong-soo planned to build a tourist attraction in Jinmyang County. He also said that they had removed the seal from the cursed Buddhist statue. Kae-hoon told him that he would go to the town hall soon. Monk Il-ju warned him not to look at the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes, because anyone who looked at its eyes would know what hell was like. He said that it was very dangerous for those faint hearts. Kae-hoon then asked him to find the whole writing on the cloth that used to cover the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes. Monk Il-ju said that he would do it right away. After that, Kae-hoon hanged up the call. Kae-hoon admitted that he was still confused, and he still had many questions about what was happening. At the town hall, Soo-jin's condition worsened. People who were kept in the room with her were worried when they saw her. In her memory, Soo-jin still saw the time when her daughter had a car accident. After Ha-young had a car accident, Soo-jin went to the police station. She cried and begged the police officer there to save her daughter. Suddenly, a truck crashed into that place. Her daughter came to that place, and the truck driver took her with him. In the real world, the rope that tied Soo-jin's body suddenly came loose. At the monastery, Monk Il-ju and Monk Sung-won managed to find some information about the cursed Buddhist statue. It was revealed that back then, there was a man who pretended to be a monk. He was a corrupt false monk who liked to commit bribery. One day, his cover was blown and he was executed by people by getting beheaded. That corrupt false monk then became a ghost who haunted people in town. His evil spirit resided in the cursed Buddhist statue. Since that time, everyone who looked at the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes would get infected and lose their sanity and humanity. After Monk Ilchu found out about that story, he asked Monk Sungwon to gather all monks at that monastery because the evil spirit who resided in the cursed Buddhist statue was very powerful. Kang-hoon told Suk-hee that they needed to go to the town hall now. He asked Suk-hee to get ready to leave that place. He counted to 3 and sprinted toward the car. Seok-hee followed him right away. But before she left the house, she grabbed an umbrella and used it to attack the crows that chased her. Ki-hoon took some mud and put it on the car. He tried to write some symbols in that mud, but the crows kept attacking him. Seok-hee got out of the car and helped Ki-hoon to get rid of those crows. Ki-hoon finally finished writing the spell and got inside the car. Seok-hee was still struggling to attack those crows back, but after a while, she finally managed to get the car key and return to the car. Because of the spell that Kang-hoon wrote on the car, those crows stopped attacking Kang-hoon and Seok-hee. Ki-hoon noticed that Seok-hee got injured in the hand. A crow landed on the car, but it didn't do anything. It just stared at Kang-hoon and Seok-hee and left not long after that. Seok-hee and Kang-hoon felt relieved when they saw that. They finally introduced themselves to each other. After that, Ki-hoon started the car and continued to head to the town hall. After a while, Ki-hoon and Seok-hee finally arrived in the village. They saw the thick fog covering that area. They thought that the village looked like an abandoned village because they didn't see anyone in that place. But suddenly, they saw a man lying on the street. Ki-hoon stopped driving and Seok-hee got out of the car and checked on that man. Turned out, that man was already dead. Seok-hee was sad because that man was a police officer. She found out that the man was murdered and she wondered who did that to that man. She took that man's gun and handcuff and dragged his dead body to the side of the road. After that, she returned to the car. In the car, Ki-hoon warned Seok-hee not to get out of the car randomly because the spell that he wrote on the car could only protect them as long as they were inside the car. After saying that, he continued driving. At the town hall, many people were lying dead on the ground. It seemed that everybody in that village had died, except the people who stayed in the building and the people who had been infected by the cursed Buddhist statue. In the room, Soo-jin was still seeing the memory from the time when her daughter had a car accident. In her memory, she saw one line express driver hitting her daughter with a truck at the traffic light. She saw his face, and she still remembered it until this day. She hated that man for murdering her daughter. She saw the truck driver taking Hae-young with him. She took a piece of glass and tried to attack that man with it. She wanted to save her daughter from that man. Youngju's friend, who was tasked by Youngju to keep an eye on the people in that room, noticed that Soo-jin had been acting strangely. He asked Soo-jin not to move. Soo-jin's eyes turned into white, and she began to lose her sanity. In her vision, she saw Youngju's friend as the one-line express driver who had killed her daughter. Because of that, she suddenly attacked that man and stabbed him with a stick. That man screamed in pain. Everybody outside the room was surprised when they heard that scream. They wondered about what happened in that room. They were soon horrified when they saw Soo-jin getting out of that room and carrying a stick that was covered in blood. Soo-jin walked toward them and tried to attack Jong-soo, but Youngju stopped her right away. Soo-jin then tried to attack Youngju, but Do-kyung stopped her from doing that. Unfortunately, Soo-jin began to attack Do-kyung and try to kill him. But suddenly, Youngju grabbed a chair and attacked Soo-jin with it. Everybody in that place were still confused about what happened. The miserable Soo-jin lied on the floor and asked them to kill her. Youngju said that he would be happy to do that. He tried to attack Soo-jin, but Do-kyung stopped him right away. Youngju was mad at Do-kyung because he always tried to stop him. He thought that Do-kyung had been infected by the virus too and told the others to tie him up. He said that they would be in danger if they didn't tie Do-kyung up. Kyung said that the most dangerous person in that room was Yongju himself. Yongju began to laugh when he heard that. People became more scared of him when they saw that. Kai-hoon and Seok, he were still heading to the town hall. On their way there, they didn't see anyone alive in that place. They only saw dead bodies on the streets. Suddenly, Seok he saw a police car in that place. She saw her co-worker Hyun Ba and asked Ki-hoon to stop driving. She got out of the car to check on Hyun Ba. But while she was approaching him, Hyun Ba suddenly turned around and pointed his gun at her. Seok he was surprised when she saw that. She immediately attacked Hyun Ba and stopped him from shooting her. Hyun Ba attacked her back and tried to kill her. Ki-hoon panicked when he saw that. He quickly got out of the car and saved Seok he from Hyun Ba. He helped Seok he to return to the car. But when they were already in the car, Hyun Ba fired his gun at them. Ki-hoon started the car and continued to drive. While they were leaving that place, Seok he looked at Hyun Ba and saw him taking his own life. She was shocked when she saw that. Kang-hoon told her not to trust anyone easily anymore. He began to tell her about the cursed Buddhist statue and how it was the roots of all those problems. He explained that people would get infected and become violent when they saw the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. He said that the infection would start from the brain of the infected people. He explained that the infected people would keep seeing the most bitter memory that they had in their head until they lost their sanity. He also revealed that everything in this world could be possessed by a spirit. Either it was an evil spirit or a good spirit. He then looked at the plush toy that Ha-young gave to him back then. At the town hall, Soo-jin was lying unconscious on the floor. Everybody in that place was watching her. Suddenly, the people who had been kept in another room got out of the room. Yongju panicked when he saw them. He believed that those people would also turn into zombie-like creatures soon. He still tried to convince people to kill everyone who had been exposed to the black rain. After they saw what happened to Soo-jin, they finally began to believe in Yongju. But they didn't think that killing those people would be a good idea. The governor Jong-soo interrupted them and suggested that they sent those people away. He explained that good people deserve to be with good people and bad people deserve to be with bad people. He said that he strongly opposed the idea of murdering, so it was better if they let those bad people attack and destroy each other. Yongju laughed when he heard that. He thought that Jong-soo's suggestion was brilliant. The people who had been exposed to the black rain were heartbroken when they heard that. They cried and begged them to save them. Do-kyung told Jong-soo that letting the infected people attack and kill those people was just as bad as murdering itself. But Jong-soo and the others insisted on sending those people away. Do-kyung still tried to prevent them from doing it. Yongju was mad at him because of that. He finally lost his temper and began to beat Do-kyung up. Everybody was horrified when they saw that, but they couldn't do anything to help Do-kyung. Yongju kept beating Do-kyung up brutally. It seemed that he was really mad at him. Yongju attacked Do-kyung in front of a cursed Buddhist statue. The infected grandmother Ho-mei poured gasoline on the building and set the building on fire. Turned out, it was the town hall building. Inside the building, Do-kyung finally managed to attack Yongju back. He pushed Yongju over that Yongju hit and broke the glass that protected the cursed Buddhist statue. Do-kyung and the others looked at the cursed Buddhist statue. They couldn't stop staring at its eyes. Yongju got up and tried to attack Do-kyung again, but an explosion was suddenly heard in that place. They became more scared because of that. Kai-hoon and Seok were getting closer to the town hall. They were worried when they saw a smoke coming out of the town hall building. Ki-hoon sped up the car so that they could arrive in that place faster. Suddenly, he received a call from Monk Il-ju. Monk Il-ju told him that he had found a way to stop all those disasters. He said that Kai-hoon needed to cover the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. He warned him to close his eyes while he was doing that. While Kai-hoon was covering the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes, he and other monks would chant a Buddhist spell to weaken the evil spirit that resided in the cursed Buddhist statue. Ki-hoon immediately agreed to do that. He said that he almost arrived at the town hall. After Monk Il-ju hanged up the call, he asked Monk Sung-won to get other monks soon. Monk Sung-won did what he said right away. Kae-hoon stopped driving and got out of the car. He asked Suk-hee to get out of the car too and help him. He threw some pieces of paper into the puddle. He planned to use those pieces of paper to cover the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. Seok, he didn't understand about what he was doing, but she helped him anyhow. After that, they returned to their car and continued to head to the town hall. At the town hall, the fire alarm rang. In that chaotic situation, Young-ju saw the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. He suddenly remembered about the bus that was parked outside the building and asked the bus driver about it. He told everyone there to go to the bus, except people who had been exposed to the black rain. He ordered his men to take those people back to the room. People began to do what he said, except Do-kyung, who was just sitting there beside Soo-jin, who was still lying unconscious on the floor. Young-ju then took out his knife and approached Do-kyung. He suddenly remembered about the time when he and Do-kyung were still friends. Young-ju gave his knife to Do-kyung. He told Do-kyung to use that knife to survive and defend himself. After saying that, he joined other people and left that place. Do-kyung picked the knife up from the floor. He then got up and looked at Soo-jin. It seemed that he was already infected. His eyes turned into white, and he began to lose his sanity. Young-ju, Jong-soo, and other people headed out of the building together. Turned out, the area outside the building was already covered by a very thick fog that it was hard for them to see their surroundings. They then decided to hold each other's hands so that they wouldn't get lost. Suddenly, an infected man ran toward them and attacked one of them. They ignored their friend, who got attacked, and continued to head to the bus. After a while, despite their struggle to head to the bus because of the very thick fog, they finally managed to find the bus and get on it. Unfortunately, not all of them managed to get on the bus because they were attacked by the infected people. One of Young-ju's men almost got on the bus, but an infected man suddenly attacked him. Instead of helping him, Young-ju attacked him right away. After the bus driver closed the bus door, he started the bus and began to drive. Jong-soo and the others were happy because they finally managed to run away from that place. But suddenly, they felt something weird with their eyes. Young-ju noticed that they were acting strangely. He looked at the bus driver and found out that his eyes had turned into white. He panicked as he realized that the bus driver had lost his sanity. He tried to get rid of the bus driver and take over, but the bus driver kept driving and trying to hit Kae-hoon and Seok-hee, who were driving in front of them. Fortunately, Young-ju managed to prevent the car accident from happening. He managed to take control of the bus steering wheel and swerved. Unluckily, this resulted in the bus flipping over. Kae-hoon and Seok-hee were shocked when they saw that. Seok-hee tried to get out of the car to check on the bus passengers, but Kae-hoon stopped her right away. Ki-hoon believed that the bus driver almost killed them because he had been infected by the cursed Buddhist statue. Seok-hee then forgot her plan to get out of the car. After the bus flipped over, the bus passengers got injured. Not long after that, they began to attack Young-ju. It appeared that everybody on the bus had been infected by the cursed Buddhist statue, including Young-ju. Young-ju attacked those people back. The situation in that place became chaotic and tense. Everybody began to attack and kill each other. After a while, Young-ju finally managed to kill all of them. He got off the bus and suddenly collapsed. He was badly injured because of the fight. At the town hall, Soo-jin finally woke up from her faint. The infected Do-kyung walked toward her and tried to kill her with his knife. In the car, Ki-hoon called Monk Il-ju and asked him about his progress. Monk Il-ju told him that all monks had gathered in a temple and begun to chant a Buddhist spell. Ki-hoon managed to hear them. He turned the speaker on and didn't hang up the call. He then told Suk-hee to close her eyes and not to look at the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. After that, he sped up the car and drove into the town hall building. Do-kyung stopped what he was doing when Kae-hoon and Seok-hee came to that place. Ki-hoon continued to drive and crashed into the cursed Buddhist statue in front of him. Ki-hoon tried his best not to look at the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. Seok-hee thought that she saw her son in that place. She panicked and accidentally saw the eyes of the Buddhist statue. She then got out of the car and asked Ki-hoon to stop the cursed Buddhist statue. Du-kyung was surprised when he saw her mother there. Seok-hee walked toward him, but Du-kyung walked away from her. Kang-hoon got the paper that he had soaked in the puddle earlier. With his eyes closed, he touched the cursed Buddhist statue to find its eyes. After a while, he finally managed to find its eyes. He took the paper and covered the cursed Buddhist statue's eyes with those paper. At the monastery, monk Il-ju and other monks were chanting the Buddhist spell. The chanting could be heard clearly at the town hall because Kang-hoon had turned his speaker on. Seok-hee approached her son, Du-kyung. Du-kyung suddenly attacked her and tried to kill her, but Seok-hee attacked him back. Seok-hee was struggling to attack him because he was stronger than her. Seok-hee cried and tried to make Du-kyung come back to reality. In his memory, Du-kyung saw the time when he and Yong-ju were riding a motorcycle at night. Suddenly, the police officers chased them and told them to pull over. But Yong-ju ignored them and sped up his motorcycle. He didn't realize that there was a car parked in front of them. He was surprised when he saw that car and swerved immediately. Du-kyung and Yong-ju then fell off their motorcycle. The police officers approached them and wanted to arrest them. Du-kyung was surprised when he saw his mother there. He and Yong-ju then ran immediately. Back to the present time, Seok-hee and Du-kyung still got into a fight. After a while, Seok-hee finally managed to overpower her son, but suddenly she began to lose her sanity. She took out her gun and pointed it at Du-kyung. In his memory, while Du-kyung was trying to run away from the police officers, he suddenly fell down. Seok-hee managed to capture him. She was surprised when she found out that he was her son, Du-kyung. She didn't know that Du-kyung was friends with those thugs. After Kang-hoon finished covering the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue with paper, he slowly opened his eyes. Seok-hee was trying to kill her son with her gun, but suddenly she stopped what she was doing and collapsed. Kang-hoon began to write something in Tibetic language on the cursed Buddhist statue. After that, he told Monk Il-ju that he had finished what he was doing. Monk Il-ju raised his hand and instructed other monks to stop praying and chanting. At the town hall, Du-kyung and Sinuk-hee finally woke up from their faint. It appeared that they had returned to their normal state. Other infected people had also regained their consciousness. Kang-hoon approached Soo-jin and tried to wake her up. He cried when he found out that Soo-jin's condition was very bad. He apologized to Soo-jin because he came late to that place. After a while, Soo-jin finally opened her eyes. The fire sprinkler then began to discharge water. Ki-hoon asked Soo-jin not to look at the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. After that, he returned to the cursed Buddhist statue to check on the paper that he had put on there. But suddenly, a piece of paper fell off and revealed the eye of the cursed Buddhist statue. Ki-hoon accidentally saw the eye of the cursed Buddhist statue. Suddenly, Du-kyung and Seok-hee began to lose their sanity again. They attacked and tried to kill each other again. But Seok-hee regained her consciousness for a while and hugged her son. She grabbed her handcuff and put it on their hand. Not long after that, she lost her sanity again. She and Du-kyung continued to get into a fight. While Du-kyung was attacking his mother, he saw a scar on her hand. He suddenly saw the memory when he was trying to run away from the police officers again. That night, he couldn't do anything when his mother caught him. Suddenly, Yong-ju came to that place and tried to save Du-kyung. He attacked Seok-hee, but Seok-hee attacked him back. While they were getting into a fight, Yong-ju took out his knife and attacked Seok-hee with it. Du-kyung panicked when he saw that. He immediately screamed and called his mother. Yong-ju was surprised when he heard Du-kyung called Seok-hee mother. He didn't know what to say. After a while, he finally decided to leave that place. Back to the present time, while Du-kyung and Seok-hee were getting into a fight, they hit the wall and fell down. They were lying weak on the floor. Ki-hoon couldn't stop staring at the eye of the cursed Buddhist statue. Suddenly, he heard Soo-jin called his name. He finally turned around and saw Soo-jin standing there. It seemed that Soo-jin had regained her consciousness. She asked Ki-hoon why he came too late. She said that it was because of Ki-hoon that their daughter got killed in the car accident. Ki-hoon said that he didn't want to talk about it. Suddenly, Soo-jin turned into a spider monster. Ki-hoon got frightened and screamed. Monk Ilju was worried when he heard Ki-hoon scream. He called Ki-hoon's name, but Ki-hoon didn't respond to him. He suspected that Ki-hoon had seen the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. With her eyes closed, Soo-jin cried and crawled toward Ki-hoon, who was lying unconscious on the floor. Through the phone call, Monk Ilju heard Soo-jin cried. He asked Soo-jin about what had happened in that place. Soo-jin told him that it seemed that they had failed. Monk Ilju tried to calm her down and instructed her to cover the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue. After that, he told other monks to continue to chant the Buddhist spell to weaken the evil spirit. Soo-jin then took a cloth and covered her eyes with it. After that, she began to walk toward the cursed Buddhist statue. After she found the cursed Buddhist statue, she covered its eyes with paper. In his memory, Ki-hoon saw himself arriving at home. He opened a door and found his daughter in that room. Ha-young smiled at him and gave a present to him. He opened the present and found a plush toy inside. Suddenly, he cried. In the building, after Soo-jin covered the eyes of the cursed Buddhist statue, she took off the cloth that covered her eyes. She opened her eyes and saw a plush toy in Ki-hoon's car. She knew that the plush toy was a gift from Ha-young to Ki-hoon. After that, Soo-jin wrote a spell on a piece of paper. It was the same spell that she saw in the picture that Ki-hoon sent to her back then. Suddenly, Ki-hoon approached her. Soo-jin was surprised to see him there. Ki-hoon attacked her right away. Back then, after Ha-young died in the car accident, Soo-jin and Ki-hoon's relationship became strained. Soo-jin blamed Ki-hoon for the death of their daughter. Ki-hoon suggested that they took their own life together. Soo-jin told Ki-hoon that his face reminded her of their daughter. Ki-hoon said that there was a spider behind Soo-jin. Soo-jin was mad when she heard that and went berserk. Back to the present time, the infected Ki-hoon attacked Soo-jin, but Soo-jin didn't attack him back. Ki-hoon was trying to kill her. After Ha-young died, Soo-jin and Ki-hoon decided to separate. It was unfortunate because they used to live a happy life together. Soo-jin was trying to make Ki-hoon come back to reality. After a while, Ki-hoon finally stopped attacking Soo-jin. He tried to kill himself, but Soo-jin stopped him right away. In that tense situation, the plush toy that was displayed in Ki-hoon's car suddenly fell off. There was a record of Ha-young's voice in that plush toy. Ki-hoon tried to save the plush toy, but he accidentally hit the cursed Buddhist statue instead. The cursed Buddhist statue fell to the ground and broke into pieces. Suddenly, Ki-hoon regained his consciousness. A big explosion also happened in that place. In another room, Do-kyung and Sinuk, he finally woke up from their faint. It appeared that they had also regained their consciousness. Do-kyung saw his mother and helped her. He then hugged his mother and tried his best not to cry. The dark clouds in the sky slowly vanished. The sky became blue and clear again. Soo-jin and Ki-hoon were relieved because they finally managed to stop the disasters. Ki-hoon told Soo-jin that he heard their daughter's voice. Soo-jin said that she also heard Ha-young's voice. They suddenly remembered about the time when they celebrated Ha-young's birthday. In that birthday party, they took some pictures together. Ki-hoon and Soo-jin then cried and hugged each other. They became more sad and guilty because of the death of their daughter. This whole incident had made them miss their daughter even more. Time had finally passed. At the monastery, Monk Il-ju and Monk Sung-won were discussing about the cursed Buddhist statue that had broken into pieces. It was revealed that they had kept the pieces of the cursed Buddhist statue in the laboratory. But they wondered about where Ha-young's plush toy might be. They had been looking for that plush toy, but they couldn't find it anywhere. Monk Sung-won worried because he believed that there was something in that plush toy too. Monk Il-ju said that it was not only evil spirit that could possess a thing, but good spirit too. They then talked about Ki-hoon and Soo-jin. They heard that the couple had gotten back together, gone to Tibet, and started a YouTube channel about supernatural phenomena together. Monk Il-ju was happy for them and said that he was thinking about starting a YouTube channel about dead spirits. 1 year later, Ki-hoon and Soo-jin were heading to a place. When they arrived in an open field, they suddenly stopped driving. They got out of their car and continued to go to their destination on feet. They went to an abandoned greenhouse and saw an item buried there. They checked on that item and found out that it was an ancient artifact. They thought that the ancient artifact had a strange pattern.